Alongside Rob Lewis and Brent Hubbs, I'm Austin Price for the Rocky Top Roundtable. Guys, Tennessee set to take on Florida on Saturday at 3:30. A game that, Tennessee's a prohibitive underdog in, 3-score underdog. Keys for Tennessee in this game are what, Brent?
Well, for me, I think it's a couple of things. One, they've got to survive the start. Florida's been awfully good to start games. You look at their first quarter numbers, you look at their ability to score on their opening drives. I think it's 6 touchdowns this year on opening drives. A year ago with Kyle Trask as a new starter, you thought, boy, Tennessee can jump on them early. And Florida and Dan Mullen scripted out a 6-play, 75-yard touchdown drive. So I think it starts with Tennessee getting the thing into the second quarter and don't get blitzed out of the gate. Last 2 weeks, Kentucky and Vanderbilt have had the opportunity to get that game to the half and be in the game. For me, that's where it starts with Tennessee.
I don't disagree, Rob. Florida's been really, really, really good on opening drives this year. Clearly, Mullen does a nice job of scripting, as Brent just pointed out. This is a thing where if Tennessee, defensively and offensively, if they can get a little mojo early, you never know.
Yeah, well, the only game they didn't score in the opening drive was Georgia when they fell down 14-0 and then ended up just blowing Georgia's doors off as the game went on. Defensively, it's going to be a huge challenge for Tennessee, and because of that, I think offensively, the offense is going to have to help the defense out. They're going to have to run the football. Coming off a really strong game at Auburn on the ground, big day for Eric Gray, big day for the offensive line as a whole. They kept themselves on schedule in terms of down and distance. A lot of third and shorts. They were 9 of 15 on third down. They're going to have to repeat that against Florida and limit the number of possessions that Florida has.
I'm with you guys on this. As much as I think Tennessee fans would love to see him come out and throw it all over the lot, the fact that we believe that Harrison Bailey will get his first start on Saturday, and coupled with the fact that you got to try to take some possessions away. You're going to lean on that running game. I mean, it's really tough to think that Harrison Bailey's going to come out there and throw for 300 yards and put up a bunch of touchdowns in his first start. That just doesn't normally happen. So one would think that Tennessee comes out there and they use the running game and they're very calculated when they throw it.
Well, I think you got to be careful not to get stuck in the run it on first down, every first down play, like I thought Jim Chaney did in the second quarter at Auburn after the first quarter at Auburn where he mixed it up pretty good. But, I don't think Tennessee needs to play a lot of up-tempo, fast-paced stuff. I think they need to try to grind the game and slow the game down, limit those possessions. As Rob said, your defense needs help, okay? This is a bad matchup for Tennessee's defense when you talk about Tony in open space and what he can do for Florida's offense. Kyle Trask is, in a lot of people's eyes, the leading Heisman Trophy candidate right now, certainly in the mix as a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. And then I agree with Jeremy Pruitt and the fact that Kyle Pitts is the best tight end in the country and a unique player that is a huge matchup problem. So how do you help your defense out? Well, you keep them on the sideline, which means offensively you got to stay on the field. You got to convert those third downs, and then defensively you have to be able to do something you've not been able to do very well all year long, and that's get off the field on third down. Tennessee is giving up 50% of the third down conversions defensively. Florida's converting 52% of their third downs. Getting off the field is a real challenge for this defense.
Doesn't that just sound like a recipe for disaster?
Yes.
The third down conversions for Florida's offense versus Tennessee's defense.
I just think we've talked about it on the message board and on the podcast. I just think it's a bad matchup for Tennessee because of Florida's offense and what you just mentioned with the third down conversions, but also just scoring. Florida's averaging almost 44 points a game. Tennessee, in this 5-game losing streak, they've not scored more than 2 offensive touchdowns in any of these games. They got 21 points at Georgia, but that was, one of those was a gift, high snap TD from Georgia. And if Florida's clicking, if Tennessee can't slow them down, I think it's going to be very, very, very hard for Tennessee to keep pace.
We've said all year that the COVID year is conducive to allowing the road team to have more success because the home crowd can't affect it. But don't you feel like in this game in particular, this is a game where if Tennessee had their crowd and it got loud enough and they were able to get Trask rattled early, that could swing the momentum in this game? It just doesn't feel like there's any chance of that with 20,000 people there.
No, look, I think that Kyle Trask doesn't get rattled anyway. But yeah, I mean, to have a chance, then you would need some early success and have your home crowd and all those things. Maybe cold weather doesn't suit Florida particularly well, but it's hard to see Florida not being able to move the ball offensively. This is why Tennessee needs help in this game. They need Trask to do some things he hadn't done all year, turn the football over. They need Florida to cough it up. They need to create a play on special teams. They need some help in this game. Anytime you're a 3-touchdown underdog, which is essentially what Tennessee is, you got to have help somewhere along the way. You need a gift, you need gift wrap points. You need a short field. You need that type of thing. And Tennessee needs some breaks in this game, and then Tennessee's got to play clean. They cannot have the self-inflicted wounds that they have had during this 5-game stretch with the pick sixes, the fumbles, the busted coverages, those type of things. They have to find some way to avoid that stuff.
Rain Saturday in the forecast, 50% chance, high of 46. That's something that, again, you bring up maybe Florida don't like that. There are plenty of teams that don't play great in cold weather. We'll see if this Florida team, plays well. And depending on what, when the rain rolls in, it could be out of here by 3:30. But, that to me is something that you have to bear watching because cold and wet, that kind of, to me, evens the playing field in a lot of ways.
I don't think it evens it by 3 touchdowns. And you're talking about turnovers. I mean, Trask has got 34 touchdowns, 3 interceptions through 8 games. I mean, he's got Joe Burrow-like numbers, and that was an historic year last year for Burrow. And I don't think Trask is getting the same level of attention that Burrow was getting for it. And all of Trask's stats are coming against an all-SEC schedule.
Yeah, it's been an impressive year for a guy that, again, 2 years ago was looked at by many as, why are you still in this program? You're not going to be the guy.
Absolutely. I mean, he's a guy that when he signed, everybody was like, what in the world was Jim McElwain doing? And then, he gets the opportunity when Felipe Franks gets hurt, and it's been a perfect marriage between him and Dan Mullen, and it's played into their hand. Back to the weather thing that you were talking about, Austin, I think one of the things, too, is how motivated is Tennessee to play this game if it's an ugly weather day and they don't get off to a good start? This team has fought. Okay, there's a lot of people ask questions about, losing locker rooms and this, that, and the other. You can't say Tennessee went to Auburn and didn't fight and didn't lay it on the line. They did. Do they continue to do that if they have a slow start on Saturday and it's 45 degrees and it's raining and it's wet and cold and all those types of things? That's why I think Tennessee needs to survive the start and have something good happen for them in this football game early.
Well, one of the 3 of us will be in open air. The other 2 of us will be in a closed air press box. And just so happens that one person that's outside doesn't really like the cold. So
I got my heated shirt charged, okay, and my heated socks. I'll be ready.
Enjoy that Vol Network broadcast. He's Rob Lewis. I'm Austin Price, and for Brent Hubbs, this has been the Rocky Top Roundtable.